In this video, we are going to talk about the top 5 Final Fantasy games that you can get into if you've never played Final Fantasy. Starting with number 5, Final Fantasy 13. Now those who play Final Fantasy are going to disagree on this one, but the only reason why it's even on the list is for this reason right here. New Final Fantasy players are not going to want to feel overwhelmed. They're going to want to feel like they can just get through the game and enjoy it. That way that they can motivate themselves to try the other ones. And with Final Fantasy 13, it's a hallway simulator. It's not like they're going to be thrown out into the open world and they got to talk to all these characters to try to figure out what they got to do to get through the story. It's not too open world, but the story progresses like really fast. And it goes story, hardcore battles, like back and forth. And you get to a point of the game where you do get this little open world feel, like once you get closer to the end. And once you reach that part, then you'll start feeling what it's really like to be playing Final Fantasy. And then you'll think to yourself, wow, this is actually pretty fun. Like I wanna do more of this. I want to have this open world feel. I want to hit all these missions and get all these like super overpowered like gear and stuff like that. I want to grind my guys up and just make them feel invincible. That's just what Final Fantasy 13 does when you get to that point of the game. It's relevant, but it's still irrelevant at the same time. But if you're gonna get into Final Fantasy, I would definitely recommend trying this one out. Number 4 on the list, we have Final Fantasy VII. Now this is just another good option for players who are new to Final Fantasy, especially if you just want to start feeling a little slightly overwhelmed, like the original feeling. You're basically going to be in a hallway simulator starting out, and I think that's why this puts at number 4, is because you're not perfectly in the open world feel, so you're still moving like progressively and you know what you gotta do and stuff like that. And once you get to a certain point of the game, you're gonna have that open world feel where, okay, now you get to explore. Now you get to check out the field and you get to fight all these new monsters, and now you get to travel to new cities and stuff like that. Now you get to fly around on the map because you're having so much fun that you decided to play through the whole game. Now you can fly around and fight super bosses, but you're probably gonna get clapped at the super bosses. Let's be real. I mean, you're new to Final Fantasy. You don't have a strategy planned out for that, and that's what's so good about Final Fantasy, because there's so many materia combinations that you can do that can manipulate gameplay, that can make you feel invincible, that can totally change the way that the battles feel and stuff like that. It's not really that complex when it comes to equipment and stuff like that. It's just you basically get it and then you have it. There's no complex feeling of how to upgrade or nothing like that. There's no upgrades or nothing like that. The only real upgrades from this game is just from materia, and materia is definitely going to be the go-to level up stuff in this game. You can do materia combinations, like if you have add status to ×4 cut, now you're cutting 4 times and you're adding a status per strike. I mean, you won't do it perfectly, but that's just a chance that you have at each hit. Put them to sleep, you can dark them, you can silence them, you can slow them, you just never know. I mean, it's just fun. You can just play around with the materia, you can have all this fun. You can probably spend hours on hours trying to find all these combinations, and that's what makes this game such a great game, let's be honest. Now that brings us to number 3 on the list, Final Fantasy IX. So just a quick little Final Fantasy tour. Final Fantasy games carry cactars, they carry chocobos, they carry moogles, they carry card games, they carry like all these side quests. They got airships. Well, Final Fantasy IX has all of that all in one. Now the reason I'm telling you that is because some of the games don't carry those all in one. You'll see specific monsters in specific games. You'll see specific abilities in specific games. Final Fantasy IX really just brings all that over and just puts it all into one game. So it really gives you that original Final Fantasy feeling, and you get it all. You get to experience it all, and it's just a really good game. The way that you enhance your weapons and equipment, you basically have to find other gear and combine them. It's just an interesting mechanic that makes you want to explore more or use the steal command more. That way you can get more, equipment and weapons. That way you can get stronger, and you can unlock new abilities that way. And you have to battle. You gotta continuously battle to master those abilities. And when you master those abilities, you get to keep them forever. Now that brings us to number 2 on the list, Final Fantasy VI. Now if you don't mind the graphics, or the 2D art style, or reading the game, this game is definitely the one that you want to try. So the 5 other Final Fantasies below 6, the gameplay is basically the same. But this game is really it's an art. The music is great. The story is fantastic. You will absolutely love the antagonist if you pay attention to the story. In my experience playing this game, I will definitely say it is my number 1 favorite of all time, and that's not why I have it at number 2. It's definitely highly recommended if you've never played Final Fantasy that you do get your hands on this game. It's just adventuring through the game, the battles that you come across, the story itself, it's just a masterpiece. And that brings us to number 1 on the list, Final Fantasy X. Now, if you're a longtime Final Fantasy fan, I know every single one of you will agree with me on this one. Final Fantasy X has literally been the one to pull me into Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy X has great storytelling along with voice acting, so no, you do not have to read the game. You could just sit and chill and just listen to it. And it's got great weapon customization system. You get the sphere grid where it's accessible for every single character. What makes the characters unique is that they get to use the same abilities as each other. Their overdrives, they're different. I mean, that's really what makes them different. Other than that, you can really just play with any character that you like. The music is great. The CGIs are good. CGIs back in that time when it first came out, I just couldn't believe my eyes when I was watching it. It was just so cool. And that's the top 5 Final Fantasy games I would recommend you to play if you've never played it before. Be sure to give this video a like if you've enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, as I do have more content on the way. This is Classic Gaming, and thanks for watching.